the story from Luke chapter 19. Jesus and his friends were coming from the north of the country down to the south, walking, and as they came along the roads, people had heard of him and they came out to see him. As he came into Jericho, there was a man who was blind and Jesus healed him. So by the time he actually got to Jericho itself, news of him had spread everywhere, and there were lots and lots of people coming out to see him. One of those was a man called Zacchaeus. Now, Zacchaeus was a tax collector. He worked for the Romans, for the occupying government, who took people's money to pay for their army, and people didn't like them. And Zacchaeus was working for them, so they didn't like him. He was also very rich, because every time money changed hands, he'd cream off just a little bit for himself. So Zacchaeus was also short. So he wanted desperately to see Jesus, but because of the crowd, he couldn't see. Now he saw the way that Jesus was coming, so he ran up ahead and climbed up a big tree, so from there he'd be able to see Jesus coming. And when Jesus arrived, he stopped. And he looked up and he said, "Zacchaeus, I want you to come down, because I'm going to have lunch at your house today." Well, Zacchaeus couldn't believe his ears. All he wanted was to see Jesus, but here Jesus was inviting him to his house for lunch. So he quickly came down and took Jesus to his house. But the people in the crowd gathering around thought, "What's Jesus doing going to Zacchaeus' house? Zacchaeus is a crook. Doesn't he know who he is?" But after Zacchaeus had spent time with Jesus, he stood up and he said, "I'm going to give half of my money to the poor. And where I've cheated people, I'll give them back 4 times what I've cheated." And then Jesus said, "Today, in this house, rescue has arrived, because Zacchaeus has shown himself to be a man of God. And I, that as a son of God, have come to find and to rescue people like Zacchaeus who are lost."